Hey everybody, so we are once again here in Quittie Nature Park. We are at the historic lime kilns. These were important parts of any society. They would have these kilns, and we'll show you a picture at the end of this that, because all you see now is just the tops where the circular, 8 foot deep, somewhere along that line. But they had, Friends of Old Annville had actually dug these out again, but these things were really important. There would be an opening at the bottom. They would fill these things up with limestone and then a number of other things, burnable materials and things like that, to wind out getting them to break down the lime, which would ultimately allow them to do all kinds of projects and things of that nature. They'd be used for your farming, for your fields, if you had particularly acidic fields, so that way it would help bring the nitrogen back into the soil and that type of thing, so you could use those fields over and over again. They also would be used for making this lime mix that you would use for mortaring in between stones, and there were a number of other uses beyond that. But you would see, I always talk about an iron furnace. You could throw a rock from each iron furnace to another iron furnace because of how important they were, particularly in this area of central Pennsylvania. But also you would have these lime kilns. Usually when you see these stone structures where they're sort of triangular in nature, they sort of are straight and then go up, a lot like the furnaces, but slightly different, slightly smaller. Those you see all over the place. Like, I know I go over in the Schaeferstown region, and whichever way you go, you'll see a number of these really neat lime kilns. You see the bottom. This is going to be, what we're seeing is going to be the top. This is where they would have thrown everything down. They would have had some kind of path up here, and they would have gone and thrown a layer of probably wood or charcoal, something of that nature, thrown that down in there first, because that's what they're going to light. Throw in the limestone, throw in some other materials, and then continue doing that layer upon layer upon layer, depending on how much tonnage you wanted to actually get out of these things. But there's several up here. I'm seeing 1, 2. I know there's several more. There's probably like 3. They only dug them down so far, but these things would have originally been like 8 to 10 feet deep. They're really impressive structures, and it's cool that they're still preserved here and that Friends of Old Annville did this. So people can check them out, and we'll go over and look at the sign just quick as well, and go from there. Here you see one of these circular structures. They would have had like these bricks around, and like I said, this is maybe 3.5, 4 foot deep. It would have been an additional probably 8 foot deep. Over here is another one. You can see sort of the front face, and then, like I said, I'll show you this sign just quick. This is what it would have looked like back in the day. So you get to see, if you can see, it's sort of reflecting pretty bad, but you see the fronts where they would have, so there would have been probably 4, and that's where they would have lit the lime kilns then, to be able to get that lime. Here's another one. Here you see the 3, and there's the 4th one over there. That would have been the one by itself, and then these 3. So this whole face is sort of filled in with dirt. That would have been a stone face with 3 openings and an opening over here. And these would have been the historic lime kilns of Annville. But it's really cool to see this type of history. And once again, they dug them down, so you got a general idea. And actually, there's a 4th one over here too. So apparently there were 5 total lime kilns. I couldn't remember how many there were actually here, but each one of these would have been essential to this area. There's a quarry which would have been out over that direction. And it's actually, now they made it into like a really cool little nature pond. A lot of different wildlife is all throughout here, but this is the deepest one. That one's probably about 6 foot deep. But each one of these would have been, like I said, at least 8 to 12 feet, maybe a little deeper. And then you just basically calculated what you threw in here is whatever tonnage that you needed, for whether it was for the farm fields to get the acidity out of the soil, or if you were making stuff for the mortars that would be used to hold the stones together. This would have been essential to a 1700s and even through into the 1800s society. These things would have been used that entire period. I'll try to find a little more information and add that on for you guys and get maybe some clearer pictures as well, and put those up at the end of the video and give you some dates and things of that nature. Michael Schroeder, who is the president of Friends of Old Annville, he's actually done some really good, cool history on these. And Friends of Old Annville is very good at having the photography of that era digitized for people to be able to see and to remember these things. And
so here you see then what
history is
the
out there, my
lime
friends.
kilns would have originally
See you
looked
all
like, and the
about town.
size with the car in front of them. This would have been back, I would assume, back in the 50s or 60s. Unfortunately, you know, that front end of the thing is either destroyed or just covered with dirt and gravel because they had sort of filled everything in at some point. But this is just another one of the historic places that are so essential and important to our past. I want to thank you once again for all coming along, and as always, we'll see you all about town.